Hi everyone, so I'm back to share another journal with you. This one is, I'm going to call it a French Bleu Vintage Lady Journal, and I was inspired to do this after watching quite a few of Ruby and Pearl XO, who is here on YouTube. I will link her channel below. I also bought one of her digital kits as well, and I think it was called the French Bleu Wallpapers. Excuse me. So thoroughly enjoyed making this. I have made a traveler's notebook sized journal which measures 8¼ by 4½, one signature, 48 pages front and back, and it is stuffed full of bits and pieces. I have also used things from ARTYmaze and the Old Design Shop. ARTYmaze is linked below as well. So this is, obviously there's a lot of blue in this, but it is light blues. I've used this was some scrapbooking paper. I just had like the odd sheet left. I don't know what kit, what book it came from. I have used another scrapbooking paper which had florals on it. There is a vintage, it's actually printables, we can hardly see any of it now, but it's like a ledger. This image here is Pinterest find. There is some embossed paper. There is hints of white through this as well, so it's like the blues, the coffee dyed papers, the vintagey look, and white. This will be listed in my shop if you're interested. All stitched around the side, eyelets and string as a closure, and I love how that looks, just like that. So the inside here, it was coffee dyed. I sprayed it with some gold metallic paint and some blue paint. Some of the papers that I've used from ARTYmaze is the blue tones, the background papers. I've used some vintage music paper here, scrap pieces. These images I think I found via Pinterest. Some lace trims on here. This is from Ruby and Pearl. I keep going to say button for some reason, I don't know why. So I left that as is because it is really pretty, and obviously just attached the tag there with the paper clip. Use some more scrapbooking paper. This is some of our wallpaper. There's some French vintage lettering behind here, some embossing and some fabric, and there is another tag which is got ARTYmaze papers. This little piece around, like framing basically the back of the image, is from Pink Monarch, I think. There's some book page and some vintage music paper, so that goes in there. This is some vintage music paper, and then I've put this trim on here. Well, we have this, I don't know if you can see that with the light, but that is all embossed underneath there with some cheesecloth. This is from Ruby and Pearl, and obviously that's the other side of the vintage music paper. You get this with her kit as well. I think her name's, is it Heather? I think it's Heather. This is some French ephemera from ARTYmaze. So that's just been coffee dyed and then popped in there. We have obviously just coffee dyed paper. There is some journal space in there. And here again, I've just used some scrapbooking paper, and then this piece here is from Ruby and Pearl, one of the wallpaper pages. This is one of the wallpaper pages, but I printed two to a sheet, and I've just popped that in there. It's ever so pretty, and that goes in there. This postcard is actually from a scrapbooking paper, well, cardstock, and I just cut a few of them out. And then this here is from Ruby and Pearl. Whoops. Ruby and Pearl again. That's just coffee dyed. Now this page here, right, there's loads going on there. Let me show you. I have to take all this out first, right? Because this whole piece there, well, is one whole piece. So I just folded that in half, added the lace trim, glued it just along there on that side, so that can be flipped up and you can actually journal on that. There's a little tuck there, and then inside here I've made another tag. So that goes there. And then this is some French ephemera from ARTYmaze, and that goes in behind there. This is from Ruby and Pearl as well. That goes there. And then this up, I was just playing around with some embossing folders and some cardstock, which I coffee dyed, I sprayed, and yeah, gold metallic spray and some blue spray for the hints of blue. Need to start using my embossing folders because I've got tons. And then that just all sits neatly in there. We have a crocheted tab, more journal space. Again, this is from one of the wallpapers. There's some embossing back there. Excuse me, I think I'm losing my voice. I kind of thought I was coming down with something the last couple of days. I've been right miserable, really miserable, and then all of a sudden all them feelings just went. This is some ARTYmaze French ephemera, and this is from Ruby and Pearl. So it was good to get the embossing folders out, you know, watching I think her name's Heather, and I do apologise if it's not Heather and everybody's going, no, that's not her name. I'm sorry, but it was nice watching her journals. They're kind of, something that she said in one of her videos that I watched was when she's making it, you kind of find the flow with the colour, and you know, even though it's like very kind of, you know, it is matchy as in the colour, but you just kind of go with the flow of it all. And I found this actually quite enjoyable to make, you know, compared to the kind of journals that I normally make. So this was the last piece of that. Or, well, you know, I do find little bits and I think it's the last piece, and it's actually not. So it's one just floating around, so I just glued that on there. Some of this blue pom-pom trim, somewhere to journal. Here is another 3 pocket thingy bobber, and embossing cardstock there, some French script. This is some scrapbooking paper. This was just obviously a bit of embossed cardstock, and I glued the vintage music paper down the side to keep that from falling apart, because obviously where it's been embossed, when you fold it, it kind of loosens it a little bit. So that goes in there. It's a little bit of trim here. I made another tag, and then that is actually stuck down. That's not like, can't come away. And we have another one of these postcards from my scrapbooking paper pad. So there we go. Lace trim here, lace trim along there. And then I made this, just a little booklet. This is ARTYmaze paper from that blue kit, and these are images that she has, like new images that she's added into that kit. So here we just have some lace trim, and you know, you can just journal in these little notepads. There's another notepad, not as big, and there's just blue paper from ARTYmaze. This is a little piece that I tore off from one of Pearl and Ruby's, Ruby and Pearl, not Pearl and Ruby. Anyway, from one of the sheets from that kit. In the middle here, we've just got some of this lace trim either side, and this is the Old Design Shop, I believe, and I do think that's French. It is. Another pocket here. We've got some scrapbooking cardstock. This is from Pearl and Ruby and Pearl. I'm getting all that muddled up now. Some French script, butterflies from ARTYmaze, some cheesecloth. There we have a crocheted tab there, and this was another page which I shrunk down. Obviously got 2 to a page, and I just kind of went around that with my ruler, so it is that tatty look. So you actually would get that like full scape, but obviously I printed 2 to a page. ARTYmaze French ephemera. So that goes in there. Little flip there. That's a piece from the wallpaper from Ruby and Pearl. And this is an embossing piece that I done, which has been coffee dyed, sprayed. It's got blue spray, gold spray, and do you know what? I don't even think I've ever used that. Excuse me. And I'm, obviously because of the embossing, I backed it onto some cardstock so that you can write on that. And then here we just have some more like lace trim. Little piece that was left over, so I just folded that in half and popped it in there. This is a little check there from ARTYmaze's French ephemera. Little flip there. Here just a little bit of collaging and another tag. That's from Ruby and Pearl. This is ARTYmaze, and that background there is Ruby and Pearl, and then that's just vintage music paper, so that goes in there. This was just a little piece, and I thought that was quite nice, in the little piece of music paper in the days of long ago, and I'd used the rest of it, so I just kept that bit, popped that in there. And this is just a little piece that was left over from one of the French pieces from Ruby and Pearl. Another one of these little booklets. Oh, this actually, the other one, I forgot to mention that, wherever it's gone. This is ARTYmaze from the, is it Not So Shabby, I think it's called, and that comes in two tones, blue and then obviously like a neutral colour. I used the neutral colour because obviously there was starting to get a lot of blue in here, and I thought I need to break it up just a little bit, so that goes on there. And that's just obviously a little booklet as well, so you can write on there, and then just some scrappy pieces there. The embossed piece there is coffee dyed, blue sprayed, gold sprayed, so I don't know if you can see that, it's got a nice shimmer to it. And another tab there. Here we just have a side tuck. This is obviously white cardstock, and this is from Ruby and Pearl. ARTYmaze French ephemera. This is from Ruby and Pearl as well. It goes in there. This is another piece from Ruby and Pearl. Then here we just have a little flip. You could glue that down if you wanted to make a permanent pocket. Ruby and Pearl, French ephemera from ARTYmaze. And that just got tucked in there. It got tucked in there. And that's on there because obviously there is that there. Then we have little tiny page, and this is Pearl and Ruby and Pearl. I think she should change her name to Pearl and Ruby because that is the only way I can say it. Excuse me. Another, that it must be a check, I think, from ARTYmaze French ephemera. One of the tags are made as a pocket on this piece. That is ARTYmaze, and this is ARTYmaze there. The vintage music paper, and then this is from Pearl and Ruby, and a little bit of lace trim here that flips out. And I just made a little pocket with a postcard from a scrapbooking book, and I really do hope I've been in framing this. Here we've just got another little side tuck. You can see the blue there from when from where I attached that. So we've got this little bit of French script down here, another tag that I made that just goes in there. I do love her. That's her name's is it Elsie or Elsa? She was a singer and a film star and something else way back in the day. So vintage music paper that flips out. We have got a little cluster pocket thing there, and I've got glue and everything stuck to my fingers. This is from Pearl and Ruby, and so is that, and this is from ARTYmaze, and that opens out like so. And obviously there is some embossed paper there. Just not sure whether you can see that because it is hard even for me to see it at different angles. So that goes in there. Then we have some more lace trim, and then here we just have a little flip on there. Just made a little cluster of French script digital paper. This is one of the Tim Holtz flower sets, don't know which one it is. it was white, and I just sprayed a little bit of gold on there, and that flips open. And then we have this, and we do have something else. And I know this is from Pearl and Ruby, and I printed it out and I coffee dyed it. It was one of the last things. I just thought I need one more thing, and when I done it I thought, where am I putting that? And I know where it is now. It's going in here, so I'm going to trim that down and I'm going to put it in there. Honestly, my head is just like, I've got really bad brain fog this last week. And then that is the other side of that paper, which is really, really pretty. So yeah, there we go. I really enjoyed that. I do love the blue. I love that kind of French blue colour. Really nice, and it is good to mix up slightly different shades of blue with it. So like I said, I will link Ruby and Pearl below. I know most of you probably know who she is, and there we go. So I will pop that in there in a minute once I've trimmed it down. This will be listed in my shop if you're interested. If you have any questions, just ask, and thanks for watching. Bye.